Well, hello, welcome again to our reading of the Greek New Testament. We're reading Luke's Gospel, chapter 9, and we're up to verse 18. And this pericope is in both Matthew and Mark. Interestingly, it's at a later part of Matthew's Gospel, but follows on fairly consistently in Mark. Kai geneto ento enai auton proseu komenon katamonas sune sanauto hoimethetai. Kai ep erotesen autus legon, tiname legusin hoiokloi enai. And it came to pass that we get ento plus the infinitive, while he was praying. Katamonas is just idiomatic for in by himself in a lonely place, perhaps privately. His disciples were with him, from Sun and Amy. Kai ep eratesen autus legon, and they asked him, saying, he asked them, saying, whom do the crowds say me to be? So who do the crowds say that I am? Hoide apekrythentes epan, and they answering said, Ioannen ton Baptisten, John the Baptist. Aloi de Elian, others say Elijah. Aloi de hoti prophetos tiston akaion aneste. These are the same words we saw earlier when Herod was wondering who this Jesus is. So others say that a certain prophet of the ones from of old, aneste, has arisen. Apen de autois, and he said to them, Humes de tina me legati enai, Petros de apokrythes apen ton Christon tu theou. He said to them, whom do you, very emphatic you, say me to be? And Peter, having answered, said, To Christon tu theou, the Messiah of God. Slightly different wording to what we get in the other Gospels there. Hode epitimesa sautois parengelen medeni legen tuto. And he, it spoke sternly to them, and he ordered them understand to speak or to say this medeni to no one. Apon hoti de ton huion tu anthropu pola pathain kai apodoki masthenai apoton presbyteron kai archierion kai grammation kai apoktanthenai kai tetrite hemera egethenai. Saying that, and this is now inverted commas, so saying, it is necessary for the Son of Man, pathein from pasco, to suffer pola many things, or it could be adverbial, to suffer muchly, kai apodokimastheni. This is to reject. Dokimos and the forms from this have that sense of to approve of something, and the apo is negating this really. So here it means to be rejected. Apo ton presbyteron, by the elders and the chief priests and the scribes, and apoktantheni, to be put to death, and to be raised up on the third day. Elegen de prospantas, and he was saying to them, Aetistele opisomou erkesthai, anesastho hiauton kai erato ton stauron autu kathemeran kai akolutheto moi. If someone wishes to follow after me. Now we get an aorist middle imperative here from aneomai is the verb, so anesasto. It's a third person imperative. Let him deny hiaton himself. Another third person aorist imperative from Iro. Let him take up his cross daily, and let him follow me. Hos ga an thele ten psuke nautus asosai apolesai, and then autain in the next page. For whoever wishes to save his soul or his life, apolesai, he will lose autain it. Hosan apolesai ten psuke nautu henika mu, and whoever loses his life on my account, hutos sose auton, that one will save it. The feminine agreeing with psukein here. Tiga o philetai anthropos kedesas ton cosmon holon hiauton de apolesas et semiothes. For what benefit does a man have? What does a man benefit from opheli? Sorry, ophelo is the verb. So of what benefit what does a man benefit? Kedesas, having gained the world, having gained the whole world, but having lost or having destroyed himself, or semi-othes is an aorist passive participle here. Semi-o is to suffer damage or loss in the passive. The active verb doesn't occur in the New Testament. Semi-o can mean to punish as well. So here it's to suffer loss or damage. So if you having gained the whole world and having perished or having suffered loss. Hoska an ep aiskunthe me kai tus emus logus tuton hophrios tu anthropu ep aiskunthesatai. So for whoever is ashamed of me and my words, the Son of Man will be ashamed of him, of that one, whenever he might come in his glory, into the glory auto of him, that is, whenever he comes in his glory, that is Jesus' glory, and that of the Father, and that of the holy angels. Ton hagion angelon. Lego de humin alethos, a syntinos ton autu, hestekoton, hoi ume gusontai thanatu, heos an idosinten basilea to theou. For I say to you, alethos, truly, there are certain ones of those standing. Now this locative use of autos, meaning here. That's good classical usage. You don't get that very often in the New Testament, but it's good classical. So it's the autos. It means on this very place. So there are certain ones of those standing here who, ume, in no way will they taste, from guamai, to taste, thanatu, it takes a genitive, taste death, heos an, until they see the kingdom of God. The next little pericope is on the transfiguration of Jesus, and that also it is in Matthew's Gospel, following on from the chapter 16 that we've just been following on from chapter 16, which is where the other pericope follow on from, and also following on from Mark as well. Egeneto de metatus logus tutus hos a hemerai octo kai paralabon petron kai Ioannem kai Iacobon anebe est to oros pros euchastai. And it came to pass after these words. Now, Hosea is used by Luke meaning approximately, and that's uses this several times. So approximately 8 days. So it came to pass approximately 8 days after these words, Paralabone having taken Peter and John and James and Ebbe, he went up into the mountain Prosucasthi to pray. And it came to pass ento Prosucasthi, while he was praying, that's the subject of the infinitive, that the eidos, the appearance, to prosopu autu, of his face. So it came to pass that, which is on this egeneto, it happened while he was praying, the appearance of his face was heteron, was different, was altered. Kai ha hematismos autu, and his garment ex estraptone. Now this is a participle agreeing with hematasmos here. Exastrapto means to flash or to gleam like lightning. It's got that lightning root in here. So the his garment was flashing white, so it was gleaming white. Kai idu Andres duo sun elalun auto hoitines esan mauses kai Elias. And behold, 2 men were speaking with him. Sunlalio is one of the words Luke likes rather than Sutsetio here, was discussing, was speaking with him. The very ones who were Moses, so who were in fact, you could say, Moses and Elijah. Hoi authentes in doxe elegon ten exodon autu, hen emelen plerun in Jerusalem. And literally the things, those being seen in glory, so they being seen in glory, in doxe, elegon, they were speaking of his exodus autu, literally his departure. This is an unusual expression here. Normally it just means the way out in modern Greek, and exodus is the exit, the way out. But here it's being used as a euphemism for death, his departure, that is from the earth. Which, and it's feminine of course, which amelin, this is the past tense from mellow, it's got a funny augment here, which he was about plerun to fulfill in Jerusalem. Hode Petros kai hoisin auto esin bebere menoi hupno. And Peter and those with him, now we get a periphrastic pluperfect here, literally had been weighed down, hupno, with sleep. Had been weighed down with sleep. Dia Gregore Santes de Edon ten doxon autu, kai tus duo Andres tus sunestotas auto. This is from Dia Gregorio, to keep awake, but keeping awake, so they're weighed down with sleep, but keeping awake, they saw his glory, and the 2 men, those standing with him. And it came to pass, ento dia chorizesthai, autus ebautu epen hopetros proston Iesun, epistata, calonestin hemas hodienai, kai poiesum in scenas tres, mia soi kai mian mouse kai mian elia me eidos ho legei. And it came to pass that while they were, this is from Dia Chorisdamai, which is on the words of departing. So it came to pass that when they were departing from him, and it's a present participle, Peter said to Jesus, epistata, this is this word that Luke likes to use for master here. And this again is the vocative from epistates. O Master, it is good for us, Ani, to be Hodi here. And let us make, hortatory subjunctive here, let us make scenas tres, 3 tents or tabernacles or tents, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah. And then Luke adds here, may odes holege, not knowing what he was saying, not knowing that which he was saying. Tautete autu legontos egeneton nephele kai ep eskiasden autus. Ephobethesan de en to eselthen autus esten nephelein. Genitive absolute, as he was speaking these things, there was a cloud, and episkiadzen, it threw a shadow over them, so it overshadowed them. See, skia is a word for shadow, you can see the root in here. So it overshadowed them, and they were afraid while they, that is, this must be Moses and Elijah, were entering into the Nephele, the cloud. Or perhaps the cloud's covering all of them, and they're afraid as they enter into this cloud. Kai phone egeneto ectes nepheles legusa, and there was a voice from the cloud saying, Hutos esti hopios mu ho ek lelegmenos autu akuete. Now there are variant readings here again. So this is my son. Now here it's not the beloved that we get in other versions of this story. This is from ek lego. It's that lego root of choosing, like our word select, not speaking. So this is my son who has been chosen out. Here, him, kuo taking a genitive here. Kai ento genesto ten phonein hurethe Jesus monos. And when the voice was happening, so perhaps while this voice was happening, Jesus was found, aorist passive from heurisco, monos, being alone. Kai autoi esige san kai udeni apangelen en ekenais tais hemerais, uden hon hierorakan. And they were silent, and they reported to no one. They announced this to no one in those days. So they announced to no one nothing. So they didn't tell anyone anything. Hone of the things which Hierorakan they had seen. Now this is a perfect, in fact, but it's not the usual perfect ending. So it's a rather odd form here from horao, they had seen. It's a perfect, but it's kan, which I think is an ionic form that you do see from time to time, but it's not the usual form for the perfect third person plural of horao. And that's that next little section of Luke's Gospel.